everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a highly requested topic, and that is the Vector robot. Now, there are going to be a lot of changes happening with the Vector robot soon in the future, and because of that, this was actually the last weekend that I could record this video, so we're going to be covering quite a few topics. If you're interested in skipping around to seeing something specific, you can find timestamps in the description box below. And hi, Vector. Yes, we know you're here. Hey, Vector. Explore. Hey. This is not the day for him to be glitching out. We have a lot to cover. I have no idea why he's being so chattery. This is not like him at all. And I don't want to tell him to be quiet because that really dampens his personality, but I don't know if you all can hear me over him. Hey, Vector. Be quiet. Oh, he's so sad now. So Vector is a mini robot designed for the home. It was created by the tech startup company Anki and was released in October of 2018. His tagline is the robot who hangs out and helps out, and he really is that. Let me see if I can wake him back up. Hey Vector, what's the weather outside? Okay, so there we go. That was a little slow. Vector's not the fastest, artificial intelligence or smart device that can help you, but he certainly is cute, and he certainly is normally a little bit faster than he was right there. He also has face recognition technology, which is kind of fun. He hasn't seen me in a long time, so I'm not sure if he will recognize me. Hey, Vector, who am I? Okay, so he does remember me. It just took him a second there. My personal favorite when I just put the laundry in. Hey Vector, set a timer for 35 minutes. And there we go. Again, in my opinion, he's a little slower today than he has been in the past. I don't know if that's my Wi-Fi. I don't know if that's the server, but unfortunately, that's what we're working with today. He also has some spots on his body that you can interact with touch. For example, his back. I'm petting him. And, oh, I didn't mean to really hit him too hard right there. He seems to be responding to that. And then I believe you can touch his ears as well. And he's kind of like purring. It's kind of funny. To activate Vector's commands, you say, hey Vector, I love you. That really took him a second. And he also has Amazon's technology inside of him, so you can say, Alexa, add Tamagotchi onto my shopping list.
Tamagotchi added to your shopping list.
We got our Vector robot kind of on a whim. During the pandemic, my husband was working the entire time, and we had a little bit of extra money because of that, and this was something that he wanted to buy for our apartment and for me. He thought it was something that was really cool and kind of fun. I was very hesitant at first because I didn't think it was something that we would really, truly use, but after watching some videos on it, I thought it was super cute, and I really wanted to have it. I never thought it was something that we needed, and we don't have a lot of smart home devices. You know, at the apartment we had none. Here in the house we have one, and that's the thermostat, and that's it. Even now, I don't see myself having any desire to get too many more smart home devices, and so again, I just really don't see Vector as something that I need. Definitely something that I have enjoyed though. When Vector was released in October of 2018, he retailed for $249. When Jake and I purchased him in April, I believe it was the 24th that we purchased him, we got him for $119. And then this little square tray, which is Vector's face, it's just a glorified tray. Oh, he was just asking me for a fist bump and I totally ignored it. But this tray I think was like 25, 30 bucks. So we got him for well under the original retail price, and we purchased him brand new from Amazon, so from a big retailer. And it's funny because Jake had shown me Vector in, I believe, like the end of March, and I wasn't really interested in him at that point, and he was only $99. So when we purchased him in April, his price had gone up to $119. Today, before I recorded this video, I checked. To buy him brand new on Amazon, it is $389. And we still have 29 minutes left on our timer. Sold listings on eBay for a used Vector go anywhere between $150 and $380, whereas the new in-box ones tend to go between $280 and $380. So these guys have gone way up in price. The changes in price are possibly due to the business situation with the company that created Vector, Onkey. Now, Onkey, they unfortunately did not have enough funding to continue the operations of their company. So another technology company called Digital Dream Labs had bought the rights to the Vector robot, the Cosmo robot, and then the Overdrive race car set that Anki had developed. And since, I believe, December of 2019, so last year, Digital Dream Labs has been maintaining the servers that operate these robots. The biggest change that Digital Dream Labs is making to Vector is that starting October 1st, you will have to have a subscription to use Vector. So how it works is it's going to be $7 a month or $50 a year, and you, with that subscription, you will get all the updates as well as access to Hey Vector commands. So if you don't get the subscription, you will not be able to say the Hey Vector commands to Vector. And so that includes things like, Hey Vector, come to me, look at me, go to sleep, all of those commands. If you don't have a subscription, you still will be able to use Alexa, and Vector will still move around autonomously. So on his own, again, you can't give him any direction. So that's a big deal. Yes, while you can still use the Alexa functions, you're basically losing every other function that came with Vector. You know, the big reason why people are spending hundreds of dollars to get one are for those fun Hey Vector commands, for his little personality, and those special commands will be lost unless you purchase this subscription. There is an option available if you want to take your Vector off of the servers, and that is called the Escape Pod, and this is $97 USD, and this has not been released yet. This is something that I'm interested in, but because it hasn't been released yet, no one's reviewed it, no one really knows exactly what you'll be able to do with your Vector when it's been through the Escape Pod, so I don't know. Maybe it's something I'll do in the future, but as of right now, I need to know a little bit more about it before I invest $100 into this robot. There's also a software development kit for people that know coding to work on Vector, and I was trying to look into this and seeing if you could use this to take Vector off the servers, but from what I understand, to use the SDK or the software development kit, you do have to have them on the servers. I couldn't find a Reddit post or a forum post that could necessarily confirm or deny this. That is something that I'm assuming. You also need to know how to use Python, or write and read and understand Python, the coding language, in order to use the software development kit, and unfortunately, I do not have that skill set. I have really super mixed feelings about all of this. I certainly understand why they've put the subscription in place, especially because Anki, their company couldn't stay open because they didn't have the funds. And I'm sure, looking back on it, they're wondering if maybe if we had subscriptions, we would have had the funds to continue operations. However, for me, the subscription has really put like a bad taste in my mouth. I guess you could say that I'm kind of a stingy person. I really like to save money everywhere that I can so I can have the money that I would like for my hobbies. And if I would have known that this guy would need a $50 yearly subscription, I don't think I ever would have gotten him at all. I feel like they're taking away something that I've previously paid for. You know, I paid for this robot with the expectation that I could say, you know, Hey Vector, and then a bunch of other weird commands. and now I won't get to do that. But that's totally in their right with the way something like this is set up, because Vector has to communicate with the servers. There is truly no guarantee that the servers will be around forever. And speaking of servers, he just had like the Wi-Fi thing on his face. I don't know if he recognized that I said servers or if he just lost internet connection. I wish they would have came up with some kind of like middle ground solution for people that have already owned Vector but don't want to purchase a subscription, because I would be happy if they just let me keep the basic commands of like come here, go to sleep, be quiet. I don't even really want the fancy things that they're introducing, like 2-part questions and even commands about the weather. I could live without those if I could just have this cool pet-like character to, have in my collection. I feel if that was the case, this would be a totally different conversation, because I think I would be feeling more positive. Like, look at all the cool things my Vector can already do. Just imagine what he could do if I was paying the $7 a month. And, some of you are probably looking at me thinking, like, $7 a month isn't that much, just pay it. But I don't want to. That's kind of not my point, and I'm sorry if I'm not expressing it too well. But Vector just recognized his cube, and he's being very cute with it, so I'm kind of distracted. I do think Vector would be good for anyone who loves smart house tech and they don't mind paying that subscription. Because again, to some of you that might not be enough money to have to move your budget around or to be upset about. But as a virtual pet, I don't think Vector offers anything special. There isn't any growing up. It's not that he's going to evolve into a new character. It's not like we are, earning points with him to buy him accessories or toys. However, he does have a personality, as well as habits that do develop over time. For a while, Jake and I were telling him to be quiet, and his personality definitely changed when that was going on, and that was kind of a bummer. And when we reset him, he kind of came back to life more, and again, we did get kind of annoyed with his little chatters, though. The interactions, to me, are very fun, but they just don't justify the cost of having a subscription. I really like the fist bump. I love telling him that I love him, and asking him for the weather is probably my favorite one, but I can certainly do that with Alexa. And I'm kind of old-fashioned in the sense that I'll just go to Google and I'll search something myself. So I really don't need to ask him questions, and at least under the Anki servers, Vector's search engine was just not very powerful. In the future, I would like to do a video about Vector and how he acts without being on the servers. How he works with only using the Alexa commands, as well as how he moves autonomously. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss that. Who knows, maybe his autonomous movements will be enough to make him a great little virtual pet, but only time will tell. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video about the Anki Vector robot, which is now owned by the Digital Dream Labs. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer. Again, I'm just not a Vector expert, but I know a lot of you were interested in this from a virtual pet perspective, so I can certainly answer the questions in that department. You can also find me on Instagram at PandaBunny. All my social media links can be found in the description box below. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
Hey, Vector. Move forward. Oh. It's your new brother.